So, welcome to our Wellness and Disability Equity Alliance meeting today. We're all about making sure that people with disabilities are getting the behavioral health support that is trusted and trauma informed and accessible. Since, as many of you know, we're living in a world that is not necessarily designed for people like us who may have brain and bodies that work differently. Housekeeping, I have enabled captions. If you want them, just click at the bottom where it says show captions. And make sure that if it will help our secretary, if you make sure that your name is proper on your, never mind, everybody's got it already. Oh, except for FHCRC. Would love it if you hovered over your box till you got the three dots and renamed yourself, just so it reflected who you are. And we want to know more about you. So I'm going to jump to this. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to ask you to put your name and your organization into the chat box, if you would. That will also help our record keepers keep track of who's who. I've got calendar notifications popping up. I hate that. All right. So um, we like to also hear about yourself as far as your demographic. We have this demographic form, and Tana is going to put the link into the chat, or you can use that QR code that's on the screen. This information is going to help with future funding opportunities, and it's going to let us know where our communities are located throughout the county. So if she can't get it in the chat, I'm going to get it in there real quick too. Between one of the two of us, we'll get, there we are. Yeah. It's a quick survey, just asking a little bit about your location and background. You can be anonymous. If it has name on there, feel free to make a name up. And while you are doing that, once again, the link is in the chat, and I'm going to repost it now for people who maybe just joined us. I'm going to, get a volunteer. Is there somebody who would like to read the land acknowledgement? And I know there's some tricky words in there, but I think you can, I've got some pronunciations on there for you. Who would like to read that if the
I'll,
print is large
I'll
enough?
read it.
Great, thank you. Go for it.
Okay. Land acknowledgement. Riverside University Health System Behavior Health acknowledges the traditional, ancestral, and contemporary homelands of the indigenous peoples of Southern California, whose land it occupies. The Cahuilla, Cupeño, Luceño, Sereno, Chumuevi peoples and their ancestors have been here since time immemorial, caring for the land with great integrity. The first peoples honored the earth, animal, and plant beings, the water, and all peoples that lived here. We acknowledge this reciprocal relationship and intend to continue and extend the values of caring and emotional wellness to all Indigenous peoples, Native Americans, and residents of Riverside County. RUHS Behavioral Health creates relationships built on trust and accountability with its community members. With this land acknowledgement, Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health commits to be respectful to and mindful of tribal sovereignty, culture, and beliefs of Indigenous peoples of this land.
Sure appreciate that so much, Chi. Thank you. Today, January 5th, is National Bird Day. So our icebreaker question, if you could be any bird, what would you be? And I have some birds up there just to sort of give you an idea. It doesn't have to be one of those. And I'm going to stop this. Feel free to come off mic and share, or if you want to type it into the chat, which kind of bird would you want to be and why? And I didn't really even think about this. I want to be an eagle soaring over the Grand Canyon. That's me. I'd like to be some sort. Everybody knows birds of prey are cool, right? I remember seeing a picture of the Far Side comic, and he had all these birds of prey sitting on the branches, and they all had dark shades on. So I'm looking at the chat, waiting to see. Yeah, Kelly, you're with me. They do. They soar far above. They're powerful. They are the symbol of our country too, aren't they? The Baldwins.
So I would like to be an owl because I'm a big night owl. During the day, I'm not a morning person, except if I'm going to get coffee or breakfast. But other than that, I'm a night owl. I love staying out in the darkness. I love the darkness. I love being out like in Joshua Tree, the stars. I love all that. The moon. I love all that.
Vanessa, you've really embraced your dark side. I love that. That's great. Owls are having a moment. I think everybody likes, especially baby owls right now.
Yeah.
Out here in the desert, we have uh burrowing owls. And they're all over the place. They're not
Yeah.
burrowing. They live in burrows that other animals have made, but they're very cool.
And I'm
All
gonna
right.
follow up with owl as well, but mine is more personal. So growing up, my father collected owls from all over the world. Wherever he would go, he would bring home an owl that, made of art, from representing the respective part of the world where he was visiting. And so for me, I just think it'd be so cool to be an owl and be, have so many different, connections to all the different locations around the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to an owl talk one time and they had a eagle feather. They waved it through the air and it went whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then they had a whole owl wing and waved it through.
And nothing.
Totally silent. Yeah. Amazing. So we have a couple eagles. Alexis wants to be an eagle too. Live near the mountains. Yeah. You know the thing about vultures. Vultures have stomach acid that is so powerful. It's like it'll burn through. It's like alien um acid. It'll just burn through things and they clean up the planet. It's amazing what they can do. Who else wants to come off mic and talk about if you could be any bird?
I want to
would
be
you
a
like to
dove.
be? A dove for peace.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cooing doves. I've got them on my roof right now. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'd be a hummingbird.
I love it. Aren't hummingbirds like not supposed to fly according to like bioengineers or something? But
Yeah, and then they hover in place and they drink sweet nectar all day. So that'd be nice.
and they can be very showy, can't they? Yeah. Hummingbirds are wonderful. Who else wants to share? If you could be any bird today on National Bird Day, what bird would you be and why?
I like falcons. I'll go the opposite of Daisy. I don't like them in real life, but since you're posing this question, they seem like they'd be very powerful. And I like them. The top of the totem pole.
What I've heard about falcons is their faces are distorted. So when they're like flying down to the earth, their eyeballs distort into the proper position.
How funny.
Yeah, so that they're amazing. And they've got that like trifocal vision too. Carlos, did I see you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Carlos Madrid, Cultural Comp Program. Maybe this is my first or second meeting here, but interesting conversation. Yeah, the hummingbird that was mentioned earlier really attracts me just for the way they are and the different iridescent coloring, the giving and taking, that balance kind of. My wife caught sight of one the other day, about a week ago, that was just hovering and she just seemed like it was like floating. And that just kind of really, I guess, special. And then you mentioned birds of prey, and I think just that's all fascinating to me too. A lot of, from what I understand, a lot of the birds of prey, especially like the hawks, eagles, falcons, will mate for life. And so that's kind of very interesting to me. But anyways, yeah, birds of prey or hummingbird. Thank you.
Hummingbirds actually are birds of prey because they eat, the nectar is not really food. That's just energy for them to eat mosquitoes and bugs and stuff. So, so I think they're a bird of prey. All right. So any last burning desires to share before we move on? What kind of bird would you be? All right. We're gonna go ahead and move to the community agreements here. Want to make sure that this is a safe spot, space for everyone. Inclusion is a priority, and I won't run through these, but these are a group developed when we first met. And we have the blank space there in case anybody has any suggestions or ideas. This is a living document, but we want to make sure that it's an emotionally safe place. And we can move on to the minutes. We had a short meeting, or the minutes are short because we had a fun December meeting. We played the feud game. So here are the attendees. If there's anything with your name that needs to be changed, feel free to let me know. Any spellings, and then I'll go ahead and get the rest of the minutes loaded too. Let's do a new share, and here we go. All right, so we called it to order. We did the minutes, the land acknowledgement. Yeah, we played Holiday Feud, and that was great fun. What is the worst animal to pull a sleigh? And those were the 6, and we got 2 out of the 6: the sloth, turtle, cat, snail, mouse, and a bug. And then the meeting was adjourned. So can I get somebody to move that we approve the December minutes as they? Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any changes? Yeah, I didn't think so. Would somebody please move that we approve the minutes for
I approve.
December? Okay. So Tana has made the motion, and we need a second. And if you're here, you're a member. Feel free.
I second.
Okay, good. And that's Kelly? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now, before we go to our special guest today, I want to introduce your new co-chair for the Wade Alliance. This person will be representing all of us. If you have any concerns and for whatever reason can't bring them to me, you can take them to her. She's already doing some accessibility work at the medical center in the emergency alert system realm too. It's Tana Butler. Tana, hello, welcome. You're on mute.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you. So I'm deaf and I'm autistic, and I am trying to change a lot of things for a lot of different people. Me and Dakota are working on stroke victims of getting ASL for them. And we're working on the emergency alert system that did not go off for the deaf. We're also working on the bed shaker for in case your house is on fire. The fire alarms go off and they do flash, the regular ones, but we're deaf and we're asleep, so we're not aware of what's going on with it. So we need the bed shaker. So we have a lot up our sleeves that we are really trying to work very hard on. And it's a pleasure to meet all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tana, so much for stepping up to do this. I need a hummingbird in here. I got a gnat flying around. Okay, let me do a quick share. There we go. Last year, I don't know if you remember, we had public health here to work with us to do a focus group around COVID, around your experience with COVID, what were the challenges. And we're going to do something similar to that today as we start the year 2024. We just want to make sure that this organization, the Wade Alliance, is on track. So I want to introduce to you Chi Ogwani. I knew I'd do that. She is the with Public Health, Riverside University Health System, Public Health, Health Education Assistant. And she's going to work with us for the next 30 or 40 minutes. And this is very interactive. Chi?
Yes, thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. As Dakota mentioned, my name is Chinyela. I work with Riverside County Public Health Equity Program. And I am coming back to your meeting, but in a little bit of a different capacity. Before, we were working on a COVID-19 Community Impact Hub, and we're still working on that. But the idea is to really get impact from different communities, so that we as a collective can address the different needs. And in that similar vein, Dakota asked me to facilitate this listening session, but really to strategize on how this particular working group, how this particular behavioral health committee could move forward. So we want to pose some questions to see how we can shape Wade going forward. So it will be really just kind of informal. I'll pose some questions. Dakota and I could tag team as we see fit, and we really want it to be an open and free discussion. We don't want there to be we don't want it to be uncomfortable. We want it to be a safe space, as Dakota mentioned earlier. So really, I just want to ask the first question, or not the first question, but just first and foremost say that we want to get feedback about the values and mission about this subcommittee. If anyone in the forum has ideas on what they've liked, what they didn't like, or just things that we could keep the same with this particular subcommittee regarding values and mission. And Dakota, would you be able to just repeat the mission statement one more time so that the group could be reminded?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't find my mute button. Boy, you caught me off guard. So I'll just do this off the top of my head. So the Wade Alliance is reaching out to people in the community who identify as disabled to make sure they're linked to mental health services, to make sure they're informed about all the benefits that they can receive from county mental health, and also to share with the county what the county can do to be more accessible, more inclusive, more diverse, and more accommodating. You still muted? Okay.
Yeah. So, quick question. Do any of you have any, I know Dakota had mentioned that she told me that the group has this temporary Wade logo, the one that has been circulating. And we wanted to just give feedback on the logo. I know there was a whole a lot of group sessions that developed this particular logo, but just wanted to get your thoughts on this particular logo and know if we'd like to make any changes regarding the current Wade logo. Feel free to talk in the chat or unmute yourself.
Yeah, this was just a temporary logo that we approved about a year and a half ago, just to get us moving forward. We just want to make sure that it conveys who we are, and sort of the tone of what we are, which would be accommodating, helpful. Yeah, thank you, Pete. Well, what I thought we might do, I love hearing your feedback now, is over the next month, if you have an artist in your family or in your group, if there's especially a kid who wants to design a logo, this would be a great opportunity for them to enter the wide world of marketing and branding. So I thought for the next, until their February 2nd meeting, we would leave it open as far as logo submissions. Would love to receive some.
I like that it says wellness.
Say that again.
I like that it says wellness on it.
Okay, good.
We're not just focusing on disability, but we're also focusing on the wellness of the disability.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for that feedback. Wellness is definitely key because it looks at the overall health and wellness of a person, and it's not really a negative view. Do we have any thoughts about color scheme, or like what does the logo conjure? What kind of thoughts does the logo conjure up for you? And and are those thoughts what we intend the group to stand for?
I actually had a question in regards to like the color selection. So I know like autism has their certain like their colors that are set. These colors, I'm new to this, I'm sorry. The colors, what do they stand for, Miss Dakota?
So the yellow is one of the RUHSBH branding colors. It's one of their secondary branding colors. And then the this rainbow, this is the new disability pride flag. And so as you can see, I took
Okay.
the rainbow and put it inside the logo. And then each of the colors do represent a different disability. And I can research that if you want. I forgot what it is, but like neuro divergence is one.
No, yeah.
I know. Yeah, and so that, but they did have an old logo that they redesigned about 3 years ago because the old one would cause people's eyes to like see dots and stuff because it was just so zigzaggy and stripy. So they toned it down a little bit, and this is in the common good. Anybody can use this flag in it for any purpose.
Okay.
If that answered your question. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you for the question and the answer. I'm even learning as well. So definitely it seems like the colors have been put there intentionally to represent the constituents. So if people on okay, yeah, I see, yeah, it's in the chat. So that makes it very very relevant to what WADE is about. Are there any other thoughts regarding the logo or branding of this of the WADE subcommittee?
And thank you, Kelly, so much for putting all that in there. You saved me from having to look at it.
I think it should be unique because autism has theirs, and everybody knows that that symbol is for autism. So no matter who you are, like the blue pumpkins for Halloween, they all know the blue pumpkins was for special needs. So there's certain things that stand out that show you that this is what we represent and this is what we're about. And I think that it doesn't really like totally stand out, but it stands out a little bit. What do you guys think?
Yeah, the uniqueness definitely makes sense. Any thoughts regarding, she gave the example of the blue pumpkins. Is there any such symbol that has that kind of I'm going to call it popability factor. I just made up that word, but are there similar type of symbols? Or does this one suffice as far as describing what was just described?
And of course, you have the traditional person figure in a wheelchair, as a standard. Autism used to be a puzzle piece, but they're doing more with the infinity symbol. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like when a few months back when the first conversations were happening regarding the logo, I knew of the different flags, but I didn't know of like the specifics of the flag. I think this provides awareness of that there is a flag that represents disability. And I think providing awareness as to what this flag is, what could be the symbol, in terms of like, oh, if you're encountering someone and you're describing this, it's like, oh, that is the flag and it represents this. So I think if we become more versed as to what the colors represent, it can be a way of sharing awareness of the flag.
Okay. Yes, to share awareness. So I don't know if a way of doing that would even be putting some kind of like slogan somewhere around there, like one-liner. I don't know what that would be, but just a thought. Just from hearing the different just from hearing the conversation, I think that would help with the awareness campaign. Putting some kind of slogan under or around or just surrounding the logo.
If I may, literally my first day here, but
Sure.
where each color is represented, maybe put like where it says for blue, represents emotional and psychiatric disabilities or mental health. Maybe put it in each line, where how there's that portion there where it kind of gives, maybe you could put mental health, you can put neurodivergent or whatever it may be, just so that people understand. Because I think when you initially look at the flag, it's very similar to the LGBTQ plus flag. And I think sometimes people get it confused because we've had it happen quite a bit. So maybe if this one is maybe if you give a little bit more detail in it. I like how it's set up. I think the logo, the actual like design of it is awesome. But if we look at it, you may not know that it's the disabilities awareness flag. So it might be something that you have to add in there. But I think it looks good overall. You don't want to put too much and then it becomes overwhelming. But it's just maybe kind of figuring out a way to, if you want to focus on the flag, put something in there to where, yeah, like that. Something in there to where people can actually see, oh, this is the disabilities pride flag. So that people have an understanding of what that flag is.
I like that.
I like
Yeah.
that. Go ahead.
I don't see that we could put it in these little ones here,
No.
but if we do show the flag at some, some point, to definitely bring that, put that text in over each color.
Yeah, is it Kelly or can you remind me how to pronounce your name? Keely?
It's Kelly.
Kelly, yes. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that feedback because because I'm a moderator, as somebody who's not part of this subcommittee, so I think it's just from outside eyes. If I see this, I initially think LGBTQ plus, and and hearing from the other speaker who gave that background about each color, like not neurodivergent. And then somebody mentioned the infinity. And so while you all were talking, I was actually Googling these terms and I see different versions of that. And so this is an awareness campaign for me, as Daisy mentioned, like I'm an outsider learning about this. I think, so it doesn't get mixed up with the LGBTQ plus branding. I think that would help with really honing in on what Wade is. So when we're into when the design process, and it's not granted, like Dakota said, this is more like a temporary logo. It's moving in the direction of what Wade needs and wants. But somehow, so can someone remind me what the infinity symbol is? Is that specific to autism or all like communities with unique needs? Can someone just inform the group about that?
It's for neurodivergence. So autism used to have the puzzle, and there begins to be a movement that we are not a puzzle to be solved. We are not something to be fixed. And so I don't know how the infinity symbol came around, but you'll see it. It's like multicolors too. Yeah, the colors sort of rainbow and fade into each other on the infinity, but I don't know why the infinity exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, something that could be easily recognizable, the way that we think, okay, infinity or puzzle. I mean, granted, those are more passe from what you just said, but something easily recognizable that will not be mixed up with the LGBTQ plus group. I think that would probably be effective, just from the conversations going back and forth. Any other thoughts regarding the logo in its current state and how it could be enhanced, if it even needs to be?
Something inviting, something showing that we're inviting all disabilities, not just picking one. Because the puzzle piece got changed because there was a lot of negative input about their logo being, like Dakota said, we're not a puzzle. We're not trying to fit in, So we don't want backlash, but at the same time, we want it to be inviting that, you know what, we're supporting all disabilities. We're not just nitpicking and saying that it's just a certain disability. It's everybody.
Right. Something inviting. I like that. Yeah,
Not
do we?
exclusive.
Go ahead. Mhm.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying not exclusive, something like that, you know?
Mhm. Thank you,
I,
Tanya's or Tanya, is that, yeah, thank you.
I think the term disability, sometimes even like with my logo, because I work for the Department of Rehabilitation, we're all about serving individuals with disabilities. But
Mhm.
sometimes when we see the word disability, the first logo we go to is what looks like behind me is the
Behind
wheelchair,
you.
and people think the physical disability. So you have to let people know that, you know, disability is such a broad spectrum. It's not just a person in a wheelchair or a person that has an intellectual disability. There are so many different things that come along with it. And it's I that's why I like where it's wellness and
Yeah.
disability equity. I like how that's there. Because there's like we said, like we talk about autism, it's a spectrum, you know, disorder, but at the same time, disability itself is a spectrum. There's, I guess you could say spectrum, but there's so many different disabilities that are out there that we're learning about new ones every day. I mean, you're just like, what? I've never heard of that before. So we learn about new disabilities and things that are being now classified as being a disability on the DSM and all these different things. So I think this is really good, but I like what Tana said about inviting, letting
Mhm.
people know it's not just, it's almost kind of like decreasing that stigma, because I think a lot of people are kind of sometimes are put off by when they hear the term disability, and we really want to make it more of a term that's not stigmatized. Just like mental health is another thing that we, you know, there's the stereotypes and the stigmas that are placed on having a mental health disorder. So I think the term disability has become so stigmatized that sometimes people are like, well, I don't have a disability, I work with youth, and they're like, I'm not this, I don't have a disability. And I'm like, well, you have an IEP. So there's some, you know, so there's things that I have to talk to the youth about. But it's kind of finding a way to really to normalize the term disability, but at the same time to let people know that it's okay to have a disability. It's, if that's, you know, it's kind of that welcoming piece is so important. That's the only way I guess I could. Tana said it best.
Yeah.
Through all of that, she said it best.
And I don't think that we should put labels
Mm.
because I am a person with multiple disabilities. So if I join your group and none of my disabilities are in there, well, then you're only labeling those ones. So why should I join your group and attend it?
Wow, that's yeah, but yeah, both of you, that's great input. Welcoming, inviting, and not being just restricted to the traditional disability, physical. Yeah, and no labels. So yeah, there's a lot to marinate on here and a lot to process in this ongoing work. Um, are there any other thoughts regarding the logo before I transition? All right. So it's still in relation to the logo, but I do want to ask, like, given this conversation, do any of you all have wonderful, you all have talents, but do any of you all have like specific talents or contacts regarding someone who could, yeah, who could shape the narrative? Like we're talking about branding, but do you have contacts who could create logos or at least conceptualize the thoughts? So we're going to have this recording, we're going to have notes, and we have all of the ideas from the initial listening sessions that happened last year. Anyone who could conceptualize those ideas, match it with the current temporary logo with anything that it could evolve into.
Okay, so many disabilities, as I did say. So I have a processing disorder. Okay. So are you asking for somebody to draw the new logo?
Kind of, yeah. And you don't have a processing disorder. I have a messaging disorder. It could have been the way I said it. So it's definitely
My
not
roommate is an artist. She can do it.
fantastic. Wow. Yeah. Did you hear that, Dakota?
I did. I want you to I'm gonna I'll send everybody our current logo just so you have it in front of you, and then yeah, we'll just take all comers. We'll take all and all submissions,
Yeah.
and even if they don't have, say, the materials to do something artistic, send it to me with like the colors chosen, and then I can try to build it on Canva for somebody with the guidance of a person who's got a good eye for that.
She does, because she's a retired school teacher.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, because
Well,
like
I know she's got time.
Yeah, that's great because that just conceptualizing, as you all know in your work and personal lives, we all have ideas, but it's bringing these ideas to life. And so that's what we really need. Anybody else in the forum have anything they'd like to contribute? Very cool. Okay, so this has been a fruitful discussion. I also wanted to just bring up another prompt about the ability of our reach as a subcommittee. We have our very, very committed members here on the call, of course, on the first week of January. But I'm just also curious what you think about the makeup of the subcommittee. Who is at the table? Who are we missing? And who needs to be here? So any thoughts regarding that?
She said she'll take the job.
There we go. Yay. You're hired.
I'm, 47 years of teaching elementary to junior high school. I'm pretty creative.
Right?
You have to be.
And I've was the president of the Riverside County Math Teachers Association for about 5 years. And I've worked with the state and the national math councils. So I had to do a lot of that stuff, come up with logos, come up with designs. So, and do it for schools. So I'm pretty good at that stuff.
We'll draw something up and let us know.
I will.
You're
I'll do
hired.
it.
You're
Thanks.
hired. Thank you so much.
You're
That's
welcome.
fantastic. Yeah, so going to my question, I just asked, like, we have the committed members and who needs to be at the table. We have Tanya's wonderful roommate, a retired teacher. I don't know if she's officially part of the committee, but it would be great to know, like, it would be great to see if this group is not fully represented, how do we bring those people needed into the table? So any thoughts on that?
She is not officially part of the meeting. Sorry, she's just on loan.
No, she's nobody's just anything, right? But it even gets me thinking, and this might be a question to Dakota and the people who regularly attend these meetings. Is it branded for only people who have unique needs, or are allies encouraged to come? Or if allies is even the right term, like who's supposed to be in this meeting, and how do we reach out to them?
Yeah, allies is a great term, and we are just all are welcome. We are as inclusive as possible. That's why we don't have a passcode protecting this meeting, because we want to remove every single barrier. And one barrier that might be there, I don't know how to overcome it, but somebody who doesn't have a computer, doesn't know how to attend Zoom on their cell phone, they might have trouble getting in since we are virtual.
Wow, that is a great point. Well, in the health equity program, we do like hybrid meetings. We do things at that larger scale, but that is an interesting barrier. I don't have answers for that. Does anyone have any possible
It's
solutions?
not a barrier. I use my phone all the time for Zooms because I'm everywhere. So to me, it's not a barrier. I just jump on Zoom on my cell phone and tap the link that they send me in the email, and you're on.
Right. Yeah.
So
think
I am
maybe-
actually, so I am the respite program manager here at United Cerebral Palsy.
Mhm.
And I don't know how I got this invitation, but I am more than welcome to spread the word to a lot of my respite workers that have that people do not have access to either Zoom or that internet issues and stuff like that. And they can, they can show them these videos and advocate, for their own self, that aren't able to, they don't have the capability to be on Zoom, or they don't have the capability to be there in person. So,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, you bring up a good point of reaching out to our fellow brethren, and then also maybe sharing recorded versions of the meeting. That I think, if I
Yeah.
understood you correctly, I wonder what it would look like if certain populations live in shared living spaces, if shared computers or phones could be shared. But without knowing the population, I don't know how that would look. But thank you for
Yeah.
bringing up the point of like technology barrier. So as a
Mhm.
group, definitely will continue to work on addressing those needs. Any other
I'll-
thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Dakota. I'll jump in. RUHSBH has a YouTube channel. And
Mm.
so what I can do is see what it will take to make the videos from this meeting available and post it on the YouTube channel. And it's anybody with internet can access it. So that would be a step towards it. It's not necessarily a solution, but that would certainly open it up towards more inclusivity.
Oh yeah, that's very awesome, this conversation. And it just makes me think of like the larger equity conversation, even outside of Wade subcommittee. Like every group that is aiming to reach larger populations, to be more intentional about having the recordings and then actually sharing the recordings on different outlets. So thank you for that contribution.
And I'm also working with the clubhouse, so that way the people with disabilities can log on their computers and
Mhm.
join our meetings.
Yes, that is awesome. The clubhouse, yeah, because that's a shared space. So also reaching out to shared spaces so we could have larger groups. Thank you for that.
Wanted to mention that several libraries across the county also provide checking out laptops or hotspots, so that can provide internet access to individuals, providing awareness to anyone that may need that. I think that can also increase access. Maybe creating a document that outlines like how to navigate or get into Zoom if they're not aware of downloading Zoom, or where these videos would be located, whether it be YouTube or the different platforms that were shared.
Oh, thank you for that contribution, Daisy. Our resources, our public resources, definitely they're being underutilized. So thank you for bringing that to the table, Daisy. Tanya?
There's also a place in Riverside County, I'll have to find the flyer again. They issue computers and laptops and tablets to people with disabilities for free.
Wow. No,
All
we
right,
need
that's
to
an
get that
action
contact.
item.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tanya, you bring up a great point. Yeah, CAP also, it might be in addition to that. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but CAP would be the one that can provide free laptops for people that's based on income, and they would apply and they can receive that as a resource. You're right. Yes. Let me see
Yes,
if I
CAP,
can find
yes.
it.
Oh, I don't know if you guys still do it in Riverside. I used to cover Riverside years ago, but when they used to have a program where you'd get like 6 weeks of training for and then or it's like 6 weeks or something like that. It may be through CAP. I can't remember. And then they'll issue the
Hello?
I couldn't tell if
That
that
is
was
through
my
CAP
computer.
too.
I think
That is through CAP too.
I think she cut out,
Oh,
unless it's just on my end.
She's frozen.
She's frozen. You see, this
and
is what
for
we're talking
her,
about technology.
and for her, we're all frozen.
Right.
We had Cap spoke a few months ago here. Clinton, is that his name? Charles Clinton. Yeah, yeah. So he's our connection there. So we should definitely bring that up with him, making that available. Okay.
Fantastic. These are great resources. I'll even say not only for Wade, but just like again, the greater equity space for inclusion, because these are resources that I think a lot of the organizations who are in this meeting and outside this meeting might not even be aware of. So this is why these kind of conversations are really fruitful. And I had another question about what are barriers for people participating in these events, but this conversation has already, I think, alluded to that. We've covered like the what we call the digital divide, accessibility to technology. And so just in this conversation, we've looked at the problem and then we've also looked at solutions. So it's just really about coalescing those resources together so we could actually share them with the people who need them most and get them in their hands. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any last question except for just moving more into an open forum about thoughts about Wade. Um, how, if you all like the direction that Wade is going in, if you do, we keep moving there. If not, what are just some general thoughts that you may have about Wade and where we'd like to move Wade in the coming 2024 and beyond?
I
I
see
think
Thomas.
these meetings are important, and the reason why is because I'm deaf. I did not know anything about devices, where to get devices, until I went to the Deaf Expo. And that's where I found out I can get the TV with the interpreters, and all this stuff was connected in my house, and it brought a new light to my life.
Wow.
But without these meetings and the expos and the events that everybody's doing, we don't get to know what is actually taking place and what is out there to help us.
Wow.
And in one meeting, look at all the stuff that everybody's brought to the table that we're all like, wow.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. It's good to know that the work that's being done is actually, is actually helpful. It's actually useful. So that's really affirming, and it shows that, and it also shows that the work needs to continue at a larger scale and in also a more tailored fashion. So thank you for sharing that. Um, yeah, it's very good for that, and it helps push the work forward. Thank you for that. Any other thoughts about Wade and how we'd like to move forward? Well, if we don't have any other thoughts, I thank you all for this opportunity to really just have this conversation, this informal listening session, so we could know how to shape Wade moving forward. But more so than just Wade, how Wade could actually provide the resources for people with unique needs. And that's really, really vital. As you just gave the testimony, Tanya, about you didn't even know about the TV and the different resources until you went to these different expos. And so that's really key. And we have to continue this work as a collective within Wade and with the larger community. So I want to thank you all for allowing me to be in your space, and so we can all push equity and justice together. Thank you. I'll
Thank
get
you.
back to
Thank you.
Dakota.
I got a lot out of that. And we have some action items that we can follow up. I know Tana has some jobs to do, and then Pat has a job to do. And I'll look into the RUHS YouTube channel and getting our meetings up there. So to our unfinished business, I do, let's see, where are we? There it is. Just want to mention that the gala is coming up. We, not last time, but the time before, voted to sponsor it for $1,000. And it's coming up at the Palm Valley Country Club, January 13th. This is a formal event, a VIP event for people 16 and over who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. It's like a night out. Maybe they never got a chance to go to prom. There's an inclusive buffet. There's going to be live entertainment. So just another thank you to this organization for providing that. And we are going to jump into our trivia question. It's going to be around our National Bird Day. So the winner is going to be the first person who types into the chat the answer to this question. Are you ready? All right, get your fingers ready, get your mouse into the chat. Your question for $20 Starbucks gift card. Launched in April 2020, what streaming service from NBC Universal shares its name with the national bird of India? Yes, Daisy, you nailed it. Right, the peacock. Daisy, I think you want to, I think I may have your address, so.
It's okay. Let's do another one. Do you have, I'm sorry, I should have let someone else.
Another bird, I don't
No,
have, I
no.
don't have anything.
Sorry
I got
about
nothing. No worries. This is your treat for being here. And I'll get you all caffeinated up so you can have
Hey.
a lot of
That's
feed-
okay.
feedback.
I could ask another question.
Okay,
related
that'd be
to
great.
birds.
Great. Yes.
Okay.
And do you want the answer to be yelled out or typed into the chat?
Either chat. Okay. Okay. Since I love the NBA. Okay, I got one. I hope they're a bird. Okay. No. Let me go with NFL. Okay. Name. This will be easy. I hope. Name the NFL team that has the same name as the bird that I liked, the one that I mentioned earlier today. I think it's NFL.
Oh, I remember.
Yes, I saw it.
Got it.
Kelly got it. Falcons.
Kelly.
I mean,
Is that Kelly?
Seahawks are cool. Well, Kelly should run in the chat first.
All right. Well
Falcons,
done.
yeah.
Congratulations, Kelly.
But I forgot they have the Seahawks as well. But yes, Falcon
Yeah.
is the one I mentioned.
Awesome. Okay, and Martha got hers in there too. All right, Kelly, if you get a minute, would you put your mailing address either into the chat or email it to me so I can your snail mail so I can send you that card. New business. We can jump into this. Blindness Support Services has asked us specifically to work with them on helping their staff and clients to engage more fully in behavioral health services. They have staff that is encountering difficult and distressing stories about low and no vision from their clients. And so we have decided we're going to build an emotional wellness resource hub in their lobby. And we have already arranged to put a kiosk in there. These are the RUHS kiosks that advertise help at hand and take my hand, but they also can access, the users of the kiosk can access behavioral health services listings, locations, that kind of thing. And then that's on the left, and this on the right, this is a device charging station. So anybody can come in. It's got all the different kinds of outlets and inlets to charge their device. And so we're setting that up. By the way, if you are interested in having one of these charging stations, the county would love to provide, they have some to give at no cost. Well, I think you would be, they're on loan. But if you have an office where there's traffic, foot traffic, and you would like your consumers, your clients, your customers to be able to charge while they're in your lobby, please contact me because they're looking for places to put these. The charging stations, not the kiosks. And in fact, I've trying to arrange to get one at the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. But you know, people who are unhoused are always looking for a place to charge up. So that charging station can be a bit of a boon for people. That was the sidebar. Let's go back to the blind. So we set this up for the low and no vision folks. What we would like to add to this wellness center, and that's why I'm bringing it to you, is a brochure stand. It would be the Wade Alliance brochure stand. And so we need to make this, we would make this purchase. And these are just a couple of examples of what we're looking at, probably something from the floor up. So I have a poll I want to launch. I'll stop the share first. The two that I showed you are about like on Amazon, they're like $250, $230, something like that. We would have to buy it from one of our vendors, so I don't have a cost. So the poll, here we go. The poll I'm launching is a two-parter. Shall we budget money for a brochure holder in the Blindness Support Services lobby? And if so, if you scroll down, how much should we choose as our maximum expenditure? So, and I have 1, 2, or 300. So go ahead and answer the poll question, please, and we'll know how to move forward.
Can
with
you
this.
repost the poll because it only gave me one question and it wouldn't let me do the other ones?
It wouldn't let you scroll down?
No.
Huh. Okay. Let me try. I don't know if I can relaunch it. Everybody would have to vote again a second time. Do you want me just start from scratch then? Let me end the poll. Okay, and then go back and see if it'll let me launch it. It's going right to share results. Let me see if I can. Okay, well, let me share these results real quick. Stop sharing and then see if it'll let me launch it. No, all we're getting is share results. Well, tell you what, let's take a look at what we have. We have 100% on the yes, and here's the answers on the cost, 300. Okay, that's what I was asking for. So Tana, if you concur, then we will move forward with that.
I
You
do.
so. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, and then that's going to bring us to. Okay. One more poll about our next meeting, and then we will open the roundtable for discussions. Originally, the poll I had was on our next Alliance meeting. Is it going to be in person or on Zoom? But I'm wondering now about this hybrid. If we should look at going hybrid, I think maybe we should have a discussion about that. I'm not one way I could do hybrid, as we were talking about earlier, is I could set up my equipment at one of the libraries and invite people to come, and they could participate in person with me there, and then everybody who's online is online. I don't, let's see, we have it, the poll is, should next month's meeting be in person or on Zoom? And we're getting the answers here. Oh, they're coming in. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and we'll finish. We'll give you about 10 more seconds to answer this poll. And then maybe not the next meeting will be hybrid, but the one following. I'll do some research into how we do a hybrid meeting. Sometimes a hybrid meeting comes across as people are just in person, and then the virtual people are just like observing over their shoulder. And I don't know if the interaction is really good there. I'd sort of like to be more Zoom with the offer to come and sit with me and be hybrid through my camera with me. But okay, so let's go ahead and end this poll in 5.
Well, it would be nice to see you in person, Dakota.
Right?
Just saying.
If we did it in person too, I would make sure that we rotate to different parts of the county, because we want people in Blythe need to get access, people in Corona, people in Paris. Okay, I'm ending the poll, and we're going to share the results. Our Zoom. So yes, our next meeting will continue on Zoom, and until then, I have an action item to just to make sure there is interest in hybrid. Do I have that correct? I sort of got that sense from our meeting earlier, from the focus group earlier. How about a thumbs up? If you're interested in hybrid, okay, thumbs up on camera or through your reactions. Okay, I see 1 thumbs up. Up, 2, 3. Ooh. Okay, that's enough where at least I will pursue it. All right, and that will take us to our roundtable. Yeah, why don't we just open it up now? Who has flyers to share, brochures, invitations for the greater community out there? Is anybody, you can either put your brochure in the chat. We're allowing that. Go ahead, Tana.
So I was wondering if we can get a brochure for this meeting so we can put them out at the clubhouses and other places where they have, disabled people.
Yes,
That way
we
it's a
have
constant
those.
reminder that this meeting's happening.
Yeah, we have a First Friday brochure, and I will make sure you get copies of it. It's been approved by RUHS Marketing, so you're going to get that.
Okay. And I will print them up and put them out.
Oh, I think we can print them up for you.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, I don't want you to. I want them to be in color, so we'll give you the hard copies. All
Okay.
right.
I have an announcement.
Yeah, Chi.
Let me go back on camera.
Mhm.
Sorry, I have to stand up. My batteries are dying. Yeah, again, thank you all for letting me join your space. As you know, I'm part of the health equity team with Riverside County Public Health, and we've worked with this group before regarding the community COVID impact hub, where we went to different communities and got feedback regarding the impact of COVID-19 and how we as a community can address those specific impacts. And so we've been working on this for about a year, this project with different communities, and we're going to do a launch of our impact hub. It's a digital impact hub with all the feedback from different communities, which include people with, which includes sexual gender minorities, racial minorities, the youth, young adults, elderly, like basically all people, but really just seeing it from their point of view as to how COVID-19 has impacted them. So we're going to debut the Impact Hub during our January 17th. Exactly, there we go. See, Dakota's on it. During our January 17th Riverside County Health Coalition. If you have been to our quarterly meetings, they're a great time to join up with the community and discuss different issues. However, this one is going to be a step above it. We are actually going to debut this project and then have breakout sessions. This is going to be one of the first time we're going to do it post-pandemic, where we're going to have more interactive element of the coalition. And Dakota showed our flyer on the thing, and Daisy, my colleague, she also dropped the registration in the link. Daisy, did you want to add in? Daisy is actually the planner of the coalition. So I did the Impact Hub, but Daisy is the boss when it comes to coalition. You have more you want to add about it?
Yeah, thank you, Chi. We're really excited to share that out with the community members as well as community partners. As part of that, the follow-up or the second portion after the presentation and the sharing out of the data, we're going to have an opportunity where we're going to have breakout sessions. We are also tapping into our community health assessment. For those that may not be aware of that, it's conducted every 5 years within the county, so we can assess what are the needs of the community. And during that conversation, we want to engage community partners to share with us what are your priorities for the next 5 years. And that is based on your input, based on the data gathered. So we're going to have a really great discussion. So we all can share, we can leverage resources, and there's so many great coalitions and networking that's already happening. So we want to see how we can then just bridge everything together so it could be more cohesive and we can all work collaboratively. So we're really excited for what's to come in 2024.
And forgive me, Daisy, did you mention that it's a hybrid?
Thank you,
And
Chi.
all the, given this is a Wade meeting, all of the accommodations we are trying to reach. Go ahead, Daisy.
Yes, thank you, Chi. So it is hybrid model, in person in Moreno Valley, and online you can also join. So we're going to have breakout sessions in both areas. We have interpretation from English to Spanish. We have ASL interpreting, we provide transcripts, we try to make it accessible to those that have different abilities. And please share with us how we can continue improving these meetings so it can be more accessible for others.
Yeah, live captions. I always
Oh,
appreciate
live
that.
captions. Yes,
Mhm.
live caption.
Tana?
Tana?
Is this meeting on Zoom?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yes, I will be there. It's on my calendar.
Awesome. Yeah, you can sign up through the link that we have. So you can get the link to Zoom, and then within that, there'll be breakout sessions.
Okay, thank you.
And so just a couple of things. If you want to save the chat for yourself so you can keep those links, at the bottom of the chat box, hover over the chat and click on the 3 dots at the bottom, and that will give you a choice to save the chat. Also, I will upload this flyer to our shared drive. And what I'm going to do now is post our shared drive. It's a shared Google Drive into the chat box. And you can download flyers there. You can upload your flyers there. In this case, Daisy, I'll do this one for you. And what else? You upload, you can download, you can see the flyers there. Oh, I did have another announcement. Michael of SoCal Adaptive Sports wanted me to tell you that they are doing a special Olympics Day in the Coachella Valley on the 27th of January. So you can reach out to him for detail. You know what? Reach out to me and I'll get you his contact information. Let's see if I actually can put it into the chat right now. His email. But if you know somebody who wants to compete in the Special Olympics, Michael's the guy to, there we go. Well, that's the wrong Michael, sorry. Copy and paste. Also, I put in the chat one last time the demographic form. As I said, we are trying to learn who's attending, what part of the county you're coming from, and that will have an impact on future funding. Our community roundtable, anything else? What else do we have coming up? Remember that if you have a location that gets consumer traffic and you want a charging station for devices, just get in touch with me. If you're here, you have my email address. Yes, Carlos.
I wanted to share, given the invitation, this meeting or this subcommittee, along with 8 others, are part of our Reducing Disparities collaborative. And so that meets on the second Wednesday at 9 a.m. So our next meeting is next Wednesday, the 10th. It's on Zoom, and it's basically where our liaisons and community members and providers give updates on their programs. I'll share the quick agenda. So we'll have our meeting next Wednesday, and then we do have a presentation by Reverend Benita on New Year Fresh Start affirmations. We have a few other liaisons giving updates on their community, and then we'll also be looking at our own themes and goals for the next year. And then it's also a safe place to share community announcements and closing. I see a few familiar faces in here. If you're not signed up and you want to, go ahead and put the link in the chat, and it's for the Google Drive. You can leave your email there, or you want to give your email to Dakota. Dakota can forward it to me, and I can get that Zoom link and the flyer and agenda or minutes from last meeting to you. That just went out today. So if you're interested, let us know. We can send that before the day's over. And that's all.
I do need that. Sorry, I do need that.
Okay. Well, I forwarded it to you, Tana, earlier today.
Oh,
The link
okay.
to the CCRD meeting. So you've got that. I always appreciate these meetings because often somebody will come from a different cultural background than mine and share something about their culture, whether it's food or behavior or art. I always learn something at these meetings. And I did put the meeting link in the chat, Carlos. I hope that's okay. You said 10 o'clock. It's on the 10th, but I think it's at 9.
Right. It's at 9,
Okay.
11, it's on the 10th.
Great. I'm so glad that you did that invitation. All right, we're getting ready to adjourn. And oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tana.
I was wondering if we were going to discuss the meeting for the veterans too, because you said that you had veterans in this meeting that may want to attend their meeting. So I was wondering if we were going to bring that up.
I have a few veterans that I'm forwarding the Veterans Committee meeting to. If anybody is interested in attending the RUHSBH Veterans Committee meeting, let me know. I will send you the link information. Because that's a group, there's kind of overlap with when we do are working with people with disabilities. Often we're working with seniors and with veterans too. All right. Okay. Congratulations again to Kelly on her Starbucks. She's going to be totally buzzed. Thanks to Chief for making getting so much information from our participants today. I appreciate you all taking time before the weekend. And this meeting is now adjourned.